Hello again, everyone. Scoons Comics here with another exciting, oh so thrilling comic book haul. Yes, how you doing? I missed last week. I had a good streak going. Didn't get a video up last week. So sorry. Sometimes things get in the way. But I have a stack of goodies this week. I have a random, they're always random, a random haul from Half Price Books. I have a couple of unbaggings we'll do today from Ollie's discount. What do they call Ollie's? A discount warehouse that's good stuff cheap. That's their big slogan out there. And then I have one book that I'm extremely excited about that very few other people will care about at all, but it is autographed. It is mine. It was a great experience that I just had last night. I'm going to save that for last. So, I went to Half Price last week. Sunday is my new day for Half Price because that is when this girl that organizes all the comics, this lady I should say, takes her time to go through the comics, bags and boards, prices them. I get there hopefully before other people get a chance to go through them, which can either be great or bite me in the butt. I'll show you how both happened. So I picked up a few cool Catwoman issues. Catwoman issue 83. It's a Harley Quinn issue. This goes for a little bit of money, but I know some of these later Catwoman issues are harder to find, so that was cool to grab that. And issue 84, another Harley Quinn issue. And then I picked up issue 92 because I'm an idiot, and I thought the end meant that it was the last issue in the series, and I was like, ooh, last issue. No, it keeps going. I just have this issue now with this. I don't know who this person is on the cover. Catwoman's looking at her non-approvingly. So there you go. And then I got some 90s fun Image Comics at its best. Witchblade #1. I have no real desire to own this. It was $1.50, and I just remember in my 90s comic book collecting, this being like a really popular book. People lost their minds for this thing. So I will happily take Witchblade #1. Then they had some Amazing Spider-Man, right? And I'm always looking to add to my Amazing Spider-Man collection. Nothing real special here, and I'll tell you why. Amazing Spider-Man 221, Bronze Age issue for $1.50. I don't know about your half-price books, but on their what they do is they use just straight up cardboard, man. Look at that. So I haven't had a chance to rebag and board these yet. Actually, I'm out of bags and boards again, and my local comic shop's got nothing. So, got to do something about that. So I got this. That's cool. And then they had Amazing Spider-Man 429. Great John Romita Jr. cover. Nothing real special about this, just I didn't have it in the run. And then they had issues 430 and 431, which I knew were sought after by collectors because it features Cosmic Carnage. Carnage gets the Silver Surfer's powers in his board, and for whatever reason, collectors really dig this, and that book can go for like 30 bucks. Both of them, 30, 40 bucks. So I give this this lady my stack of books, and she's looking at them, and some were priced, some weren't, and she's like, oh, well, let me look these up real quick. And I'll be damned if she didn't pull those two aside and look them up, and she's like, oh, these are both $80 comics. I'm like, $80? And again, I have to play dumb that they're even anything, because I have to, or else, So yeah, she wants, I could have either one for $80. No, that defeats the entire purpose. I'm not giving you $80 each for these two comics. So I lost out there, and I then did their job for them and pulled the books aside. I hate that. I've won playing that game. It's the last time I lost playing that game. But I got a few minor keys. Amazing Spider-Man 434. Spider-Man did this whole thing where he had his identity crisis, where he assumed the costume persona of 4 different characters. And this is the debut of one of them, which one I could not tell you off the top of my head. And then I got Spidey 436, which has a $2 price tag from wherever this guy bought it before. I got it for $1.50. And Spidey, Amazing Spider-Man 437. So just some Amazing Spider-Man I didn't have. I also picked up Peter Parker Spider-Man with this great John Romita Jr. cover. Also one of these Identity Crisis. This issue 91. I just love the way this cover looks. It's also one of the first appearances of these Spider-Man identities. So that's cool. I also picked up Marvel Team Up Volume 2, number 7, featuring Spider-Man and Blade. It's a newsstand copy to boot. Just a run filler. I needed this for my Marvel Team Up run, so that's nice to find. Don't come across those very often. And then the best things I've found there for $1.50 were Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters for $1.50, number 1. This was hot for a little bit, so I was happy to pick that up. Then they had these two. I was really excited about this. Spider-Man number 1, the black cover, silver and black cover, $1.50. But again, so why was this $1.50? You'd think she would at least put $5 on this, maybe 10, 15. I don't know. They price things crazy, but this one she priced for $1.50. So it's the gamble. Do I just wait for them to hit the open part of the store where just every Joe Schmo can go through the books? I don't know, but I got that for $1.50, so that was pretty cool. And then my big book there was Amazing Spider-Man 365, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. See, 5-page preview of Spidey 2099, which is just the first 5 pages of Spider-Man 2099 number 1. So whether you count this as a preview, cameo, first appearance, I don't know. But I know this book's popular. People are specking on Spidey 2099 because of the next Spider-Man movie coming out, the animated one. So this one's a little beat up. I've got several copies of this. So to find this for $1.50, that's a really nice find. I was really happy to get these two. Were the first books I found when I was looking through comics that day, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a good day. Now we're going to do an unbagging. So right after that, so right across the street from my half-price books is Ollie's. Good Stuff Cheap, which sits in our former Toys R Us, so it's always kind of sad to go in there to me, because our Ollie's is kind of beat up. It's kind of a goofy place. It's a little dirty, but they had new comic books this last Sunday, and I said, oh man. So those of you who don't have an Ollie's, they bag stuff like this. So this particular is it's a 5-pack of comics. They've got 10 packs. They've got 20 packs sometimes. This was $5.99. And what you do is, if you're crazy, you look at both sides, and then you can pick apart the books and try to see what's in there. And I do this all the time, and sometimes there's some really crazy stuff, sometimes there's some really unexpected stuff, and sometimes, most of the time, there's nothing. Like Guardians of the Galaxy number 11 here. But, on the back of this, you can see it, this is Steel 29, DC Universe logo variant, which I'm always hunting for. This is a book I didn't have. Very excited to find this, so let's pop this open real quick. I don't think there's anything else really of value in here, but I was waiting to open this with y'all. So, Guardians of the Galaxy number 11. Our Man number 15. And a lot of these packs will have the exact same comic except for a few variants, or a few variations. Guardians of the Galaxy number 10. This is all stuff I'll give away at Halloween to kids, you know. Secret Defenders number 15. This has got a Deadpool cover. That might be something. I don't know. Somebody will want that. Some Deadpool collector. And it's got the Spider-Man cards intact. And then my big book, Steel number 29, DC Universe logo variant. I dug through all their books. They had a couple more DC Universe logo variants, the same issue. I sent them off to a buddy of mine because he also collects, so that's cool. Glad I could help somebody out. But yeah, man, Ollie's, check them out. And then I was back, again, because I'm crazy. On my lunch hour this week, I went back to Half Price. They had Big Fat Nothing. And I went back to Ollie's because I really didn't have time to go through everything. And when I mean go through everything, I mean peel apart the books and try to see corners and what's in there. So I went back and I saw this one. And this is Adventures of Superman 501 on one side. And then Superman Batman Annual number 2. And then I'm looking at these. I'll try to do this like I did it. I don't know if this will show up on camera. Probably not. But I looked and I was like, wait a minute. What's that? See that right there? And I recognized that. I'm like, I think that's Uncanny X-Men 210. First cameo appearance, here I'm cutting this open, of the Marauders. And also a comic that means a lot to me. And I'll explain again why. I've talked about it before. So let's go. So we got Amazing Adventure of Superman 501, which would be the first appearance, second appearance of Superboy. There's 9,000 copies of that book out in the world. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Xenobrood? I don't know. Issue 0. DC Universe garbage from that time period. Avengers 26. Avengers versus X-Men storyline. And then the annual number 2. And then sure as hell, Uncanny X-Men 210. This is beat up a little bit. It's dirty. I'll try to clean that up. But this can go for 10, 20 bucks online, if not higher. First appearance of the Marauders. This is a book that I always loved. I love this cover. And when I was a kid, I've told the story on here before, so bear with me. When I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. And at the shop I would buy baseball cards was also a comic shop. Memory Lane, Comics and Cards. And behind the counter when I'd buy my packs of Topps or my Nolan Ryan cards, God bless Nolan Ryan, this was always on the back wall as like an important, expensive book. And I knew the X-Men from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Wolverine with his Australian accent, mate. Very weird. But I would see this and I'd see Wolverine smoking a cigar and I'd be like, oh, what's going on here? X-Men a little darker than I thought. So when I got into collecting, I've picked this up now. When I see this cheap, I pick it up. So when I saw this in the middle of that multi-pack, I had to bring it home. So that's a really cool find at Ollie's. Completely random. Why is this? Looks from like 1981? No, later than that. I'm sorry, 86. God. But still, why? Where did this come from? So weird. And last but not least, I'm a big wrestling nerd as well. Not only about Godzilla, comic books. I have the Intercontinental Championship over here, you big wrestling nerds. I love wrestling. I don't watch as much anymore of like the mainstream stuff because the best stuff is when I was a kid and growing up. But I still follow it. We had a local show come last night to my town, and my cousin and I went, and one of the guys performing is a guy that I have always really liked. Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel is his gimmick. Christopher Daniels. Been wrestling forever. He's probably about 50 years old now. He's got my haircut, so it's harder to tell. But I've followed his career for a long time, and I was really excited that I would get a chance to see him wrestle again. I haven't seen him wrestle live for 25 years. But he was coming to my town, so I was like, oh my God, Christopher Daniels is so cool. And he wrestled, and I cheered, and I hooted and hollered, and it was great, and the whole card was great. I had a great time. And then when I was leaving, he was there selling. They always sell their 8x10s and gimmicks and whatever they got. So he's there. I'm like, oh my God, Christopher Daniels. Well, I had to go talk to him. And I always get real tongue-tied and shy around what I consider to be celebrities. Movie stars and stuff, I don't think I get tongue-tied by. If I see a comic book writer or artist at a convention, I'm always real shy. And these wrestlers that I've watched are like superheroes in my mind's eye, basically. And I'm like, it's Christopher Daniels. So I'm being very sheepish, and I felt bad about it later. But I came up to him, and he had done a couple of comic books about his wrestling career, and he was selling those, and I talked to him for a minute, and he signed it, and it was a real nice interaction. It was really great. So this is that book, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian Wrestle from Aw Yeah Comics. This is the guy right there. No, that's Kazarian. Christopher Daniels right there. He signed it to me, signed it. I told him how big fan, always appreciated his career. He's great. Oh, thanks, man. He was very gracious, very nice guy. I had a comic book shirt on. He's a big comic book nerd, so he appreciated the comic book shirt. So it was a really cool interaction. It's really surreal when you get to meet people that you only know through the television screen. So that was pretty cool. So this will have a nice spot in my comic book collection. It's never going to have any great value, but to me, this is a priceless thing in my collection now. So very excited to have that and bring that home. And that's what I got this week, guys. Always an eclectic haul, but a fun haul. And hopefully I'll have some goodies next week. See you then.